Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last day of the spring 2023 season. My name is Joe, and I'm joined by a very special guest today, Aryan Joshi from University of Massachusetts. He is one of our ambassadors, and we are covering his team up against University of British Columbia in the Division Three finals. So they just started their games. Let's dive right in and check them out. So, Aryan, you told me to look at their board one in the first match. This is Joe Ingles, whose real name is Leo Q, up against Rowan DePaster. So, what's up with that?
So, Rowan has been playing on the team B for us the entire season, and this is our first ever substitute in the A team. So it was more of a strategic move, but he's been playing really well, and his prep is really good. And I think I see they're playing the Caro. Is it the H4 H5 variation?
Yeah, this is a Caro Advance H4
Yeah,
H5.
so H4 H5. So he specializes in this. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, I see he's been trying to bait this B pawn, and Leo has not been taking the bait. But your player Rowan is definitely up on time. So yeah, like you said, probably up in prep, which is good. Um, I'm also noticing that their top player is 2,500, which is pretty high. That's higher than your top board. Are you guys concerned at all about the strength of Leo, or you think that maybe even your board four could get an upset here?
But four can get an upset. I mean, of course, a 1900 versus 2500, 2500 is always like 99% gonna win, but you never know.
All right.
But
So yeah,
first, I have good faith in my other teammates. I think they'll pull it
so
off.
Rowan's like your secret weapon here. You're pulling him up from the B team. He's played very well, and I guess how many players did you have to choose from? You had like the whole A team.
I had so I had the whole A team. I mean, the all our top three boards have been doing well. So Adit and Nathan are always scoring. Like in the last, I think it was semifinals, Adit went 4 for 4 and Nathan went 3.5 out of 4. And then in the quarterfinals, Taisuke won us and he went 4 out of 4. Amir's been he's been doing pretty well as well, but I felt it was more of like a strategic move to throw the opponents off if they prepared
Yeah,
and
it's kind of a
good.
gamble. You don't know if they're prepping or not.
Yeah, I don't
So
know exactly.
this is round one. Their board four is playing against your board one. So let's check that out as well. They have Alessandro, who is 1,800, up against your player who's titled National Master Audit Batia, 2359. So definitely the clear favorite in this one. But computer's saying this position is actually fairly even. They have a bishop against, or actually they have a knight against its bishop. So how do you feel about this position?
Would I would honestly prefer white. I know Adit's playing black, but I would prefer white. But then Adit's like 20 or 2300, 2400. I'm actually interested what opening Adit went for because I know he told me before the match he's gonna do something weird. What do you think?
So
Do
this
you know
was
what
a
he played?
Queen's Gambit declined Shigoran
Oh, nothing.
defense.
Okay, nothing weird. Okay, great. Nothing weird.
Well, yeah, he has the black pieces, so he can't really determine, which opening to play necessarily. But
True, true.
it looks like this knight is going to try to get into b4, but after queen to d6, black's threatening some gnarly checks. So instead, g3 is played first, and now a5 preventing the knight to b4. And this knight honestly might just want to come back to e4. But instead, Alessandro's doubling on the e file, and maybe going to try to get to the seventh rank. That seems pretty solid, right?
Plan because if you look at White's knight, it really doesn't have any squares. Now all of a sudden I'm liking black better. If the only readout I can see is if you move the rook from e1, you go 91, 93, and probably go 95, but that's really slow. So I think doubling and try to exchange off the queens, best bet.
Yeah, I think black has this really nice f4 move here, really putting that pawn where every single black piece is supporting it, really trying to break through white's king side. So Adit plays the very peculiar king f7, preventing white from getting into e7. How do you feel about that move?
Hmm. That's actually a pretty decent move. I would, I would have played. No, actually,
Okay, so a draw
she's
offer, basically a repetition. So queen gives
no.
check, the king has to go back. Now queen,
Adit's not gonna take a
I
draw.
think,
Adit's not
yeah,
gonna.
he needs to play f4 here. That's what I would do.
F4 looks like a good shot.
There it is. So it's on the board. Now white can
Oh,
force a queen trade with queen e6. The computer's calling for g4, which I think,
it probably thinks white is slightly better in this position, but like if you look at the ratings, I mean, white would want a queen trade, right? 1870 or 1900 versus a 2400. So
okay, so yeah, queen e6, that was the move I was expecting, going for this queen trade. And black can now take on g3 if they want, but then the c pawn will hang with tempo. But probably you got to take back on g3 first, otherwise black could take on f2 with protection on the rook. But I'm gonna check out some of the other games that we haven't looked at yet. Looks like Brian up against Nathan. Brian's very low on time, less than 15 seconds.
position. Oh,
Oh my goodness. This move blunders. King d7.
oh, king d7.
Wow. So Brian was winning if he just takes the rook back. Instead, he gives a check. And he wants to do queen takes e7, but the king slips away. King c8
Really
now.
low on time.
King c8 and there's nothing there. That's incredible. Knight comes back attacking the rook, but it's too late. And Nathan has a ton of time as well. So Nathan, very strong. He's board 2 for you guys. He should be able to convert this. He's got plenty of time as well. Brian with only 3.9 seconds. Let's check on the last board that we haven't looked at yet. We've got... Oh, he might flag. No. Okay, so last board is Tysek versus Dagger Crossfire. And this is British Columbia's board 2 up against your board 3, who is 2200. So you guys are pretty stacked. Do you remember
Yeah, go ahead.
what was your standing going into the playoffs?
Oh, in like the group stage, I think we finished first in the pool.
First.
We tied, yeah, we tied with Narfu. They also went 5-2, but I think we had just better tie breaks, and we also beat them in the league stage. So I think that's what helped us.
Very nice. So Tysek missed a free pawn there on a5, but okay, that's a free pawn as well on h4. But he's just going
I
king
don't think.
c8. I think he just wants to play bishop d8. Tysek's very low on time now. Whoa, he goes the other way. Okay, he grabs the a pawn. He's got to watch out though. This f pawn is pretty fast.
Yeah, but
He promotes with check, which is
promotes
huge.
with check, and then you
Ah,
can
queen
probably
c4 trades off. Very nice. Very
and
nice
white
technique.
wins.
Wow, so this is actually an upset. Board 3 from UMass going to take down Luke Pulfer, second board from British Columbia. We actually have 2 results in, so Nathan did get that win. We see Tysa getting a win. And we also have, okay, all the games just finished. Audit won his game. And how did Rowan do? Okay, Rowan was the only loss from
I was
UMass.
looking at that game. I was looking at that game, and he was actually completely winning. And then, yeah, I think, yeah, messed up the rook end game.
Yeah, he was up on time. It was a rook and pawn endgame, and yeah, his d pawn was overpowered But apparently, it would have been really advantageous to take after queen takes. He has the move rook takes a7, and he can make a pass pawn. He has a 2-on-1, and this pawn is pinned as well. So would have been good for him, but instead he did not take. He takes on a7 first, and like you said, messed up this rook and pawn endgame somehow. So yeah, just down a rook at that point. So strong start for University of Massachusetts, 3-1 lead. Do you expect more of that to continue? You think that British Columbia is going to try to come back?
Come back, but I think our board 2 and 3 are really interchangeable, so their strength is more or less the same. Nathan started off as our board 2, sorry, board 3, but he's been promoted to board 2. But Taisuk is good as well, so I think if they can hold off board 2 and 3, they have a good chance.
Yeah, well, they've done that so far in round one. Only their top board has gotten a point, and we see Leo now is taking on Taisek. So you think Taisuke is going to be able to continue and give Leo his first loss of the match?
I think he can. I know out of all four of them, Taisuk is the one who prepped the best. I'm pretty sure he preps a lot for these matches, so you never know.
Nice. And oh, we have a pawn sacrifice here from Leo. E6. So really just kind of trying to ruin black's structure and make it really difficult for this dark square bishop to promote. And we see that Taisek doesn't take it. This allows white to take on f7. So he's not going to be able to castle. Do you think this is all part of his prep?
Ooh, e6 takes. I know e6 is a common move in the Caro. It kind of looks. I would
Oof.
be happy if this is part of his prep, but
I mean, look at this pawn structure. He's got double isolated B pawns and double isolated E pawns and a king on f7. But he does have the bishop pair.
he does. He does.
He's got Leo right where he wants him. Look at this. King f6. He's still in prep. He's barely
King
used any
has.
time. Okay,
If,
targeting that
if
weak b pawn. b5.
e5. What's wrong with e5?
Well, it's white's
Oh,
turn right now.
yeah. After like if he goes.
Yeah, bishop d4 check meets e5 is annoying, so probably not going to do that. Okay, instead knight g3. Maybe we check on some of the other games. Let's check in with your board 4, Rowan. He's taking on Luke. And looks like both sides of castle king side is a bit more of a normal position. Lots of tension in the center. But yeah, this game looks a little bit more reserved. Only one minor piece has been traded so far. Maybe we check in on your top board audit versus Brian. Okay, and the positions actually doesn't look great for audit. What's going on here? Oh, this is very interesting. This is called the Polish opening. So b4.
Adit told me before the game started, just watch out for my white openings.
Okay, so yeah, he had black in the first round, but now that he has white, he's starting with b4. So do you know anything about the Polish opening?
I have no goddamn clue. I only know there's that one tricky e5 variation where you lose your rook, but I honestly have no idea about this.
Well, yeah, he gets this knight into c2, gets his bishop and his rook forked. So he's got a rook on a3 now. Black has the bishop pair. And yeah, I mean, it seems like he's defending. He's attacking this d pawn right now. Rook's over to defend.
And last time I know he mixed it up because he knew everyone's gonna prep against him. So if he just like plays weird openings, there's nothing you can prep against. So I know he's been playing like if you see his blitz games recently, he's been playing one B4, one G4.
Okay, so yeah, he's mixing it up here. This is a pawn sacrifice here from Brian. This is a very interesting move, h5. So perhaps trying to open the h file. Audit accepts it. Wow, and Brian just falls immediately with g6, king g7, and he's going to put a rook on that h file.
He's trying to go king f1, king e2, king d1.
Maybe. I think he's actually going to try to open up the center with e4.
That's probably what I would do too, because if you go rook h8, you e4 is allowed.
Queen goes to g5, opposite the king. So, okay, bishop g2. This helps put an extra layer of protection between the queen and the king because let's say black goes to the h file, rook h8. Um, White might want to play a move like h4 at some point. And if the bishop was still on f3, then the g pawn would be pinned. So black could play rook takes on h4. So we see that the queen steps back to the h file.
I was thinking e4 could have been possible there, but he goes rook a2, bishop h3.
Yeah, trying to trade off. This bishop is a very key defender for white. It's a very good piece, so I would expect him to move it, which he does. He doesn't want to trade that piece off. And this bishop on h3, it's taking a lot of squares away from the king, but it's also kind of blocking the attack on the h file. All right, I'm being told to check out Nathan's game, so
He's slightly better.
yeah, Nathan is playing the board 4, and looks
Yeah.
like he's really getting his king up in position. And he's trying to give a check on c7, but this does give up the pawn on h2. But we see Alessandro defends the c7 square. White now has a check. It now goes back to defending the h pawn. We have a check en passant. This straightens out Alessandro's position. We have another check here. And now the king's got to move, or you can take on f5 first. So takes. Now the king has to move. And I would expect the king to move up. And it does so. This does allow bishop to c7 check, which would win the h pawn, but white would also then win the e pawn and probably the f pawn. So computer is calling this an even position. Both players have over two minutes. It is opposite color bishops, which is going to be hard to progress. But white will have this past d pawn after they take on e6. Okay, bishop takes, check. Probably king f6. Now king d5. So this allows rook d8 check.
Check. King c4.
Or king c6. No, king c6, you get rook d6. Okay. Pushing, and now this is trying to give rook h5 check, perhaps. Okay, doubling, attacking the bishop. But again, rook h5 is a check. So both sides have a passed pawn. White is a little bit more solid, I think, in the center. Uh-oh. Rook check.
Rook e3. Rook e3 check.
Rook e3 check. And
And
now there's rook
rook
f8.
f8.
Yeah. But there is an attack on that bishop on c7. So if black takes on e6, white takes on c7.
C7.
Ah, but then the black can play f3.
F3, and you're pushing, exactly.
Yeah, and black's threatening rook g6 there as well.
I think it's the only move in the position, F3.
f3 is very aggressive and
And he
played.
finds it.
Wow, so not a good turn of events for Nathan. Alessandro looking to get an upset. Rook here that completely blunders the rook on c7.
Oh, wow. That's not good.
Surely Alessandro plays it. Yeah, and resigns.
And
Wow, big
board
upset
four.
win. So British Columbia trying to get some points back. A big win from their bottom board. Against Nathan as well, your board too. So British Columbia, they're not going down without a fight. Let's check in on their top board against Taisuke. So how did this
To
go?
be, I think white looks much better in this position.
Yeah, we did see this opening did not look good for Taisuke. So computer's just calling for rook c4 check to trade down.
Pretty decent. And he does, I think.
Yeah, so what's the pawn? It's just the one pawn advantage for Leo. Same color bishops, but definitely a better pawn structure for white. And you see that this king is trying to get in to attack that h pawn, which is pretty weak. Interestingly, computer's just calling for king f4, so this bishop trade is apparently okay.
It's completely losing.
Yeah, it's not so obvious. Because you win the e pawn, but you lose the c pawn.
Exactly.
The king's just going for the h pawn. So this is what I felt was a bit more natural. After this trade, it's saying it's only +1 after king c5, which is like the obvious choice to go for. But white is definitely faster and is still up a pawn. So the king has to move and try to promote this e pawn. Taisuke less than 20 seconds here. Deciding king d3 is the safest. Queen, queen. And now how to close this out. Check. Taisuke is going to try his best to hold this to a draw. Check. Ooh, you're going to pick up the b pawn? No, gives a check. He's trying to pick up this pawn with check. Yo, Hunter Liz, thank you for the raid. And if Tim Cannon's still here, thank you for the sub earlier as well. Shout out to Hunter. Hello and welcome, everyone. You guys are tuning in from the Florida College Championship. I hope that went well. This is a big match between University of Massachusetts and University of British Columbia. So there's $1,500 on the line. And it looks like Taisek should have a perpetual at this point. So Leo messing up his two-pawn advantage here. And Taisek only 5 seconds. Oh, the king is getting loose. Oh, computer wanted king a2 there. King a2, and then that would allow for queen takes pawn with check, by the way. Queen block.
This should be held to a draw, cause even if you trade queens, kings in time.
Yeah. Yeah. White missed the opportunity with king a2. This game is far from over, though. Like queen b2 check, I'd give. Oh, a king move is very interesting. Are there no checks here? Okay. There could still be a huge blunder in time pressure. Now the black king is very exposed. 1 second. Oh my goodness, he almost flagged. We do have some results. So
With
Rowan got a big point.
yeah.
So returning the favor, both board fours winning. Okay, offering this trade, but not accepting it. Brian gets a huge win against Audit. So Audit's opening with the Polish, the b4, did not turn out very well. The king move. The king is trying to attack this queen. I've never seen it like this. Okay. Okay, black could have forced a queen trade there. Can still force a queen trade.
Yeah,
and then just take the pawn.
Just take the queen.
Yeah,
take
easy.
The pawn. Yeah, that's
All right, so it's a draw. That's a good result from Taisuke, considering they were losing earlier, and that holds the top board from British Columbia to just a draw. So after this second round, looks like British Columbia has brought a point back to cut the lead in half. It's only a 1 point lead now for Massachusetts, 4.5 to 3.5. We are halfway through the match, 2 rounds remaining. Massachusetts, they're going to try to get 4 points out of the next 8 games to hold it even and get a win for their team, which, again, that clinches the Division III finals, which is $1,500. So lots of money on the line in this match. If you guys want to see the full list of prizes, you can do exclamation point prizes in the chat. But second place gets $1,000. So both these teams are guaranteed $1,000, which is pretty significant. Aryan, do you know what UMass's plans are with those funds?
I really wanted to get a DGT board because we get pretty good funding from the school to buy boards and all that. So I'm pretty happy about that. So I think DGT boards are pretty expensive. So I'm probably gonna try and get one of those.
All right, nice. Well, that would definitely cover it. We just put a prediction in the chat, so if you guys are willing to risk some channel points, it's a 1 point match. It's very close. So we saw that UMass won the first round, and British Columbia actually won the second round, but Massachusetts still holding on to the initial lead. Still anyone's game, half the match remaining. It could go either way at this point. The board fours seem to be very strong, both getting wins of that last round. Very exciting. What do you think the final score is going to be, Aryan?
9-7 to UMass.
9-7. So that's close. But you expect them to get an additional point lead in the second half. So, yeah, we'll have to see. Does anyone else have any better guesses? Which game are you looking at, Aryan?
Looking at Nathan's game right now, and he seems to be actually doing pretty well against the top board.
Yeah, so Nathan had a loss in that last round, right? So he's gonna look to bounce back, and who else than their top board? So Leo was held to a draw in that last game, and is gonna try to bounce back here as well against Nathan, who lost in that last round. So looks like White definitely has a space advantage on the king side, opting not to castle. And this bishop on h8 doesn't seem like a very happy piece, does it?
But there, I mean, F5 in the future, not of course not now, but F5 in the future, that may work.
Why not right now?
Oh, um, let's see, F F5 right now. Actually,
Well, one of the top recommended moves is f6, which also makes sense to me, right? Trying to just knock down some of these kingside pawns, really cramping down on black's position. So like this rook literally has no legal moves. The bishop can't move at all. This knight is very sad on e8 as well. So f6 kind of opens things up a little bit for Leo's pieces, and he's been played. So looks like black's definitely trying to fight back here and get some space back for their pieces. I see a comment in chat saying Nathan has never lost against King's Indian. Is that true?
a specialist against King's Indian. It's
Okay.
very, very hard. He never loses. Who's saying that in chat? Philip, yeah, of course. That makes sense.
So
Yeah, he crushes all of us, and if we try to play King's Indian, it's not a good idea.
okay, so looks like Leo has captured on g5 and is trying to trade off this dark square bishop. So Nathan actually declines, brings it back, and might even be targeting this knight on c5. I definitely feel
E7
like,
looks like a different move.
okay, rook here opposite the queen and some more support over c5. I was thinking knight b5, but that might put you into some risk of discoveries. So the computer's offering knight c4, which is the same idea but a little bit better, attacking this d6 pawn. And this knight is defending it, but it also offers some protection against the rook. So maybe the other knight now can go to b5 and attack the d pawn even more. I'm getting a question in chat saying, how can I play? This is the Collegiate Chess League, so you have to be a university student in order to play. The season is ending literally today, so it's a little too late to join, but we will have a summer league as well as our next season during the fall semester. So if you're a university student and you'd like to play, definitely check us out on Discord. I see Greg in chat is saying that Nathan has actually never lost a game of chess, which I guess that would mean that last round was a historical game for Nathan, his first loss ever.
I think he's trying to give the opponents a chance, to be honest.
Ah, that's very generous. I think so is your top board with b4.
Before.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I think
actually
I think he's playing the London right now. If I was just looking at his game right now, and I think he's gone back to playing normal chess.
okay. So he gets 2 whites in a row, and his last game he'll end with black. But so one game with the Polish was enough to put him back on track to the London. And honestly, his position doesn't look great. Yeah, he had some. I guess black plays this f6 move, and that really helps out. He had isolated doubled e pawns. And f6 is very interesting. So the capture comes with tempo on the queen. So black has to come back defend. And now queenside castle. We're threatening queen takes c4, actually. Isn't that an interesting move? Sorry, what was
I
that?
think I think that's a good move because you can't take back because then you win a pawn and you win the queen, but queen for queen and you get a pawn. And plus, a white's rooks will be more active attacking e6. as well as b6, and probably if you stockpile the rooks, much better for white.
Yeah, if you do exclamation point info in the chat, you should be able to find our events page. And if you do exclamation point NACE, you can see our tournament platform, which is run by the National Association of Collegiate Esports, which is pretty cool. Okay, king steps up. This defends the queen. So computer actually doesn't like that
E4.
move very much.
What about e4? Does e4 work?
E4, it's one idea. The computer's calling for rook h4, which is threatening rook takes c4, which is very annoying. Okay, king b1 instead, the passive move. And now black takes back. And now we see your move e4. Someone's asking what the summer league is going to be like. Well, we've only done one summer league before. It's typically more casual. There's no cash prizes. But last summer, what we did was a bullet tournament as well as a bug house championship. So if you guys are university students and you're looking for some chess tournaments to play in online over the summer, definitely keep an eye out for that. We will announce it in our Discord. So that's where you'd see it, exclamation point Discord to join. Yeah, Aryan, what's it like over at UMass? Do you guys play a lot of bug house?
We play 7 board bug house. So first 4 boards to checkmate wins. I don't know. I think Henry in chat has a term for it. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, he's pretty good at bug house.
How do you play 7-board bug house?
7 board bug house is just like, I mean, 7 teams, 7 people on each side, and 4 boards to checkmate. First 4 boards to checkmate wins. But the rule is that pieces can be passed on to anyone. So if I won, I can stockpile all the pieces on one board, and you can just use everything over there.
Okay. Oh man, so you could have 14 knights on one board.
You
Yeah.
absolutely can. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. You should give it a try.
Okay. Well, I would need to find a club that has at least 14 players that are all willing to try at the same time. So we'll see. All right. Looks like Luke is getting under a minute here, and we actually had a result. Brian wins against Rowan. So that actually ties the match up. It's dead even here, 4.5 to both sides. So British Columbia, after losing the first round 3-1, they're right back in it, all tied up here. And they said in the chat, one of their team leaders said that they are a slow starting team. So they get the round 1 jitters out of the way, and now they're awake. So I know you guys are out there on the East Coast. British Columbia is in Pacific time with me, so maybe a little early in the day for them. It's still morning time for us, but it looks like yeah, they've tied it up. So at this point, it's the next the next 4 wins win, and there's only 7 games left.
I also felt like the match would get close, but let's see.
Ooh, okay. So we've got knight f2. That's a fork, and that was one of the threats after. It is actually very peculiar. I'm not sure why knight f2 doesn't work right away.
F3, I guess.
Oh, e5. E5 is a threat. So that's why the queen went to e5 to block that pawn, and white actually missed. They had knight f3 hitting the queen, which would have been annoying. So we see now knight f2 lands, now that there's no e5 threat. And now we see knight f3 that cuts off the rook protection of the queen. So probably Luke has to sack the exchange, which he does. He gets the exchange back. A quick trade. Black is winning this e pawn. Queen takes with check, and the queen steps back, looking at a5 check, also keeping pressure on the h pawn. This is a pawn advantage for Luke. So Batia under 30 seconds now. It's a tight position. Also, Alessandro versus Taisuke, both players under 20 seconds. And it looks like Alessandro has the advantage, a rook versus a knight. Oh, queen takes d5 is missed. Queen takes d5 is attacked. That e-pawn is pinned. Rook d6, rook d6.
Rook d6.
And now...
Queen
Oh,
c6. You have to trade.
Daisuke.
Oh.
No, now rook takes d6. Or queen takes... Or, sorry, d5. No, he sacks the rook.
Wow.
He's going to get the knight. So he has a 2-pawn advantage now. Less than 5 seconds for Taisuke. This is looking great for British Columbia. 1 second. It's down to 3 seconds. Taisuke was able to hold a draw against the board 1. But can he hold this against the board 4? Queen check, pawn push. Oh, and he blunders perpetual!
Perpetual!
He gets the perpetual.
Oh my god. What a save.
Dude, Taisuke in back-to-back games holds the completely losing games to draws. And it looks like, okay, I have to put some points on the board. So Leo gets a win against...
Adit drew.
Yeah, Audit draws against Luke. So that's actually Luke's first points of the match. He holds a draw against the top board, which is a good result. And then Alessandro in a completely winning position. He missed winning the knight. He would have been up a full rook. And Taisuke in time scramble holds it to a draw again. So British Columbia now actually has the lead for the first time in the match. They're up 6.5 to 5.5. Are you feeling nervous, Aryan?
Nervous. But I'll tell you this. So I did a lot of planning for like who should be on which board. So right now Nathan's in better form than Taisuke. So I had planned such that if we go to tie breaks, which board I want, like which person I want on which board. So for round 4 matchup, which is the tie breaks matchup, I do feel like we can clutch it. I can provide extra, but yeah, I think we're gonna do well in this round.
All right. Well, it all comes down to this. This is the 4th and final round. UMass needs 3 out of 4 to win, but they could still tie the match with a 2.5 to 1.5 match in this 4th round. So, and like you said, if it gets to tie breaks, you feel like that you have the advantage. And if they win 2.5 to 1.5, it shows that this 4th round they do have at least an edge over British Columbia. But British Columbia, they've gotten better and better as the rounds have gone on. They've actually won the last 2 rounds. So UMass only has won the first round. But let's see how they fare in this, top board versus top board and so on, 4th round.
I think for me, I think board 4 is gonna decide the matchup because both board 4s have been playing really well. So I'm really interested to see who wins the battle over there.
Yeah, I'm checking out that game right now. It's a big one. I mean, Alessandro definitely missed an opportunity in that last game. Taisuke has been really holding down board 3 for UMass with those 2 big draws. Obviously would have preferred to maybe have a better result against Alessandro. So Alessandro's been playing very well, 1.5 out of 3. Rowan has a point as well. So like you said, this is a big match. And it looks like Rowan's going after this f7 pawn. And now Rowan takes the bishop pair. So slight edge for white initially, but still anyone's game at this point. And looks like Alessandro is just really comfortable with the time advantage, over a minute already in his favor.
He's a really good player. He's playing really well. Like not even this match, like even previous matches. I think in the semifinals I was following and I think he beat board 1, which I think that went to tie breaks. If I'm not, I don't remember completely, but he's been playing really well.
And Alessandro has a chance to get the bishop pair back after taking on d4, but doesn't go for it. So this gives white an opportunity to push in the center. And now I'm expecting a pawn recapture. Oh, it takes with the knight. So black actually could take on e4 if they want, but then there'd be this really annoying bishop takes a7 move. So still not taking with the pawn. And I guess the knight could have gone to block the bishop to c5, and that would attack the bishop on b3. So taking the bishop first. And now, actually, can you take on a7? Is that available? Or does your bishop get trapped after b6?
6.
Yeah, I guess you get trapped.
It gets trapped, yeah.
Okay. Well, what's interesting is maybe you take on e6, and that removes the defender of the bishop. And if bishop takes on e3, we have bishop takes on f7 intermezzo, winning a pawn.
Yeah, but you're winning a pawn.
But he doesn't go for it.
He doesn't find it.
Huh, that's really interesting. That was like, yeah. Well, still anyone's game here. Let's check on the top boards. We've got Leo versus Audit. And Leo is the point favorite with 2.5 out of 3. So no one has a perfect score. How do you feel about Audit's position right now?
Black better. He has a much better center. And knight f5 in the near future. Oh, he goes knight g6. Interesting.
Yeah, he needs to get his bishop out. So probably bishop e7 and then castle. And Audit is up a significant amount of time, over a minute at this point. And he's got the black pieces too, so. Queen's attacking that b pawn. b3. And potentially going to go for c4. Yep. So that d pawn is pinned. If the pawn takes, the queen can take the bishop. So instead we see bishop to c6, getting on the long diagonal. And yeah, Audit has the bishop pair, and he's caught up on development now. We see a trade. How would you take back, pawn or bishop?
I would take back with pawn, honestly. But then is e6 a move? No, e6 doesn't look like a move.
e6 is a gambit. All right, but white's trying to support that e-file, so rook e1. Hello, Kamado. We are watching the final round between UMass and British Columbia in Division 3 finals. It's a pretty big match. There's $1,500 on the line. And Leo is the top board for British Columbia, 2,500. He's attacking Audit on the king side. He's about to play h5 and try to dislodge this knight. Okay, bishop hits the queen first. So the queen's got to move. What about queen f5? Seems aggressive, right? No. Queen goes back. Pawn push, threatening d3. That's very aggressive. Knight retreats. So Audit is breaking through in the center. He's got this connected pass pawn. Leo's pieces are on their heels. They're retreating. But now white gets in h5, forcing Audit's knight to the back rank as well. Let's check in with Taisuke and Brian. How's this match going? So it seems that Brian is up a pawn and has a connected pass pawn in the center. And Taisuke seems to always be down something, but holds it to a draw every time.
like white or black?
Well, a pawn is a pawn, as they say. So, yeah, I would take black. I don't think that's a controversial opinion.
True, true.
But Brian is he's spending some time on the clock here. He's thinking. So Taisuke has about a 30-second advantage. Queen comes out. We haven't looked at Nathan versus Luke yet. Let's check this one out. And the computer's loving Nathan's position.
That's good. He's up a pawn, I believe. Yeah, he's up a. Those knights are really good.
Yeah. This bishop on f1 is defending d3 with its life. Because if the knight lands there, that hits everything. And yeah, UMass, they need a win to tie it. So British Columbia, they have a 1 point lead right now. They only need 2 points to win the match. $1,500 on the line. Looks like Audit's position is getting better and still has a minute advantage, twice as much time as Leo. His rook is hit right now. He's thinking. The games are getting down to the wire. Oh, it's still not moving. What's he thinking about it, Aryan?
He has a 20-25 second advantage. He's really good at time scrambles. So let's
But
see.
he's just giving up his pawn. He's put the rook to the e file. So instead of leaving on the d file, white now can take on d4.
D4.
And he does. Queen takes on a2. Oh my god, Leo's spending so much time. 20 seconds. Knight c6, hitting the bishop. And this could also maybe try to trade things on d8. I'm not sure. But the bishop's hit. Would you play a5?
Hmm.
Or I don't know either, man.
This is a really tricky position. Time scramble.
Less than a minute for. Oh, we had a result. Taisuke and Brian drew.
True.
So they both end with 2.5. Queen up. Defending the bishop. Very low time for Leo. He brings the bishop back. Knight hits the queen. The queen has to guard the rook, and the knight goes to d5.
That's the only move. Straight queens.
Let's check in on the board fours. Like you said, this would be a big deciding factor. And looks like Rowan is crushing it. Up 3 pawns. Rook b5. I love that move. King takes on g4. King's getting pushed back. The pawns are pushing. Rowan just has to watch out for time. That's it. Rook check. Okay, the rook can get into g5 now. That's got to be somewhat annoying. But the c pawn is pushing. Check, check, king to the f file. Now the rook has to go back to g8 to guard the c pawn. But no, this is just too many pawns. Rowan should win this, unless there's a stalemate. Luke wins against Nathan. So Nathan goes down. That's Luke's first win of the match, and that brings them to 8. So they just need a draw in the remaining 2 games to win. UMass is in a must-win position. 2 seconds for Leo. He moves, and he immediately blunders. Oh my god, Leo was completely winning. Audit, he's trying to promote his A-pawn. Oh my goodness, he could have just pushed his pawn and played knight d6. But the bishop guards the promotion. I think Leo's going to draw it and win for British Columbia. We did have a win for Rowan, so he brings it to 7-6. This is the final game of the match. A must-win for Audit. Oh, and now he's winning. Now he's winning. He's got rook c7. He's about to force overtime. Rook takes.
Oh my god.
And the bishop can't take because then he promotes with the queen. It's a queen versus a bishop and 2 pawns. White wants to try to promote. No, but the queen's getting on the light squares. Oh my goodness. Last game, Audit beats Leo, and it goes to overtime, 8-8. This is Division 3 finals. We're getting some extra chess. So British Columbia with a 1-point lead, they can't clutch it out. This match will be decided in round 5. How are you feeling now about your prediction, Aryan?
Well, I knew it would go close, but I'm banking on the fact that we're gonna win this into tie breaks. I'm pretty sure. Pretty confident.
All right, so just as a reminder to everyone how tie breaks works, we're going to repeat round 4, the matchups we just saw, except switch colors. And instead of 5+2, it is now 3+2. So they each get 2 minutes less on their clock. It's a faster blitz. And if it's tied again, if this round goes 2-2, we will do that same thing, except instead of 3+2, it gets to 1+2. But you think that UMass is going to close it out right here, right now?
Specific matchups, I think, favor better for UMass. Just board 4 against board 4, and I think if Adit clutches it, then yeah, I think we should be good to go.
So we just saw UMass won round 4. It's their first round win since round 1. So you say that UMass is favored in this head-to-head matchup here in round 4, and it was true in that last round. They won by 1 point to tie things up. So if they can do that again in the faster time control, then they will win the match. They will win Division 3 championship, and they will win $1,500. So it's all down to this. British Columbia, can they answer back? Maybe they're letting it get close. Who knows?
A match.
So, okay, Tysek and Brian, they drew, and that's actually a good result for Brian. He is the lower rated board 3, but they both have 2.5 points. Same with the top board. So these board 3s definitely have a lot of points. In fact, they're tied with the most points with the top board. So this will be another interesting game. Looks like Taisuke is very confident, only having spent 17 seconds. Brian is already under 2 minutes. So do you feel like your team is well prepared in the faster time controls? Like, do they like to play quick games?
then Nathan are extremely quick over the board, and even Taisuke. So, and yes, I think we're pretty much favored. As I said, I was planning for a tiebreak in case it happens because I knew these two teams are pretty strong, and I just feel these matchups favor UMass.
All right. Well, let's check in with the board fours. We saw very dominant performance by Rowan, and now he has the black pieces. So maybe Alessandro is better prepared with white. They're pretty even on the clock as well as the position, to be fair. Both sides of castle kingside. We have expansion in the center from Alessandro. So d5.
C3 to remove one defense of that pawn. That's what I would do. Not really familiar in these kind of positions.
So black takes.
Takes at the pawn. Probably knight
He's
takes
attacking
again.
the queen. Yeah, knight takes. Now probably bishop takes, but he might take with the rook.
Rook, yeah.
Ah, bishop takes.
Yeah, bishop takes. And
we're threatening taking on f7, but now that the knight lifts, the rook is protected additionally. So with the knight back on b8 and the rook's not connected, this queen was overloaded defending the rook as well as the f7 pawn. So black completes development and, okay, takes that knight, pawn takes back. So not taking on d1 first, which would have forced the queen to the back rank.
Did you see c4?
Ah, c4. Wow, c4.
Before it takes back,
Yeah.
there's c4 and you take back.
Wow. A gnarly intermezzo, which would have forced white to trade rooks. Black takes back, and then the queen has to go somewhere extremely passive, like a2, allowing rook d1 check, king to h2, and then there's probably some check that's very annoying, but we don't see that. We don't see that line. So c4, a missed opportunity by Rowan, but computer loves Rowan's position still. So yeah, this dark square bishop on c1 is a terrible piece, and it's really creating problems for Alessandro's position. This is looking really good for Rowan. Let's check in on the top boards now. It looks like Audit is crushing on the clock, as well as the position. Wow. So if the boards 1 and 4 for UMass can both win, that means that they only need a draw between Nathan and Taisuke.
I think board Daisuke is pretty much winning because he's a piece up.
Wow, Taisuke's crushing, and he's got low time, so it'll be a scramble. Wow, he's not just a piece up, man. He just won the queen. Knight to f5 and just completely overlooking. He couldn't go to c5 because this knight is guarding the fork as well as that c5 square. So bishop c5, a huge blunder from Brian. That is not what British Columbia wants. We see Taisuke giving up in exchange just to simplify things.
This is looking really good for Daisuke.
For sure. Yeah. That should be a simple conversion. We actually have a draw between Nathan and Luke. So that's actually looking really bad for British Columbia. Because, I mean, ooh, Rowan's position actually did not improve.
Really?
So his bishop gave up the c2 square. So the queen made space there, and that allows for white to get their bishop out, and their rook now is opened up. So things have improved for Alessandro since last we checked. We do have a result. Taisuke has just beaten Brian, and so that's a good result for UMass. And that means that you guys just need 1 point to win. 1 point.
Adit,
So yeah, Audit's looking to get that point. And Alessandro's really low on time. Rowan is also trying to get the win for British Columbia. Less than 10 seconds now for Alessandro. So British Columbia, they need 1.5 points out of the 2 remaining games.
the Rowan looks much better with white, and I mean it's 10 seconds on the clock. Doesn't matter.
Rowan has black.
Yeah.
Mate in 3 now. Bishop check. Yeah, that's it. That's going to be it. Pawn
And that's
mates.
it.
So Rowan wins. And with
UMass
that,
wins.
yeah, UMass are the Division 3 champions. Uh, with the strategic Rowan board 4 going 3 out of 5. Uh, only outscored by Taisuke at 3.5, and Audit looks to join him as well at 3.5. So Leo down to his last 5 seconds. Might call it quits soon here. We'll have to see. But yeah, congratulations to UMass. A hard fought win, taking it to overtime after being down in that last round and winning themselves $1,500. So congratulations. How are you gonna celebrate?
Oh, that's a good question. I promise most of them to order them pizza if we win the
Oh,
entire division.
this is a real
So,
nice tactic from Audit.
uh,
He would have had Knight F8 fork at the end. So he picks up everything, guarantees himself at least a draw, but he's looking to win this. Let's see, get the bishop and the pawn out of the way. And now the king out of the way. And then he should, oh, queen b1, mate. Nicely done. So he also goes 3.5 out of 5. And the final score, 11.5 to 8.5. And just as you called it, Aryan, they'd be favored in the 4th round matchup. So very nice play by you and your leadership and your team in general to clutch
thank
things
you.
out here. So congratulations, $1,500 and Division 3 champions. Awesome.
Thank you.
What do you have to say to all the UMass fans that are watching in chat right now?
Oh, there's so many UMass fans. I want to thank everyone. And yeah, as I promised, I will order pizza for everyone. So if you, I'll just, I'll decide the day, but yeah, we'll order pizza.
So the $1,500 prize fund is gonna go to a giant pizza party, huh?
No, not that. We actually last year's revenue we still haven't used all of it, so I might use that. I think last year we won 1,000, so a lot of that is still left, like 700
Wow.
odd is still left. Might use that.
Well, now you're gonna get even more than that. So $1,500 this time, and maybe you can use that for other events. I know that a lot of teams use funds to travel to Pan Am's, so that's another thing.
That's definitely Pan Am's is definitely on the radar right now. We're looking to get one team at least to Pan Am's.
That's exciting. And I think that you guys are also doing a lot of events on campus. I know Massachusetts has a lot of colleges that play chess. So do you have any exciting events coming up?
Well, I the other day I organized a bullet tournament. That was like a 15-round bullet tournament. But in the near, we're looking to collab with other schools. I think a lot of Massachusetts schools they did have a collab. We couldn't go through because of transportation issues, but we're looking to get one event through definitely
Awesome.
sometime soon.
Well, are there any other UMass teams that made it deep in the playoffs, or is it just your A team?
So UMass A one Division 3. I think UMass B we crashed out in the quarterfinals 8.5 to 7.5. Hard luck,
Close.
but
Yeah.
Yeah. I think C. I think we crashed out in the wild card round, and D did not make it to the playoffs
Okay. Well, the A team leading by example, and hopefully you guys will be
for
back
sure.
next season as well. So,
Definitely
congratulations
will be.
again. And
Thank
I
you.
just want to plug we will be back at 3 p.m. Pacific. So, that's about 3 hours from now with a very big Division 1 finals between Mizzou and SLU. So, you don't want to miss it. That's a $5,000 match. Be sure to tune in. Aryan, who do you have winning that match?
You for sure.
Mizzou? No, SLU?
Yeah.
Oh, you like Mizzou?
I'm gonna go Mizzou. I know people would say SLU, but I'm gonna support Mizzou.
Oh, okay. You think they're the underdogs or you think they're the
Yeah.
favorite?
I think they're the underdogs for sure. SLU's always when they're playing. SLU's always the favorite, aren't they?
Okay. Well, we'll have to see. This is a rematch of the inaugural season's finals where SLU won. So it's going to be a close one. I'm really excited to see. And again, $5,000 on the line. That's our finals for the season. And then we have, I think, 3 other matches left after that. If you want to see the full schedule, it's actually I tweeted it, but it's also listed on our Discord. And every match we're covering today will have a special guest. So be sure to check out who that's going to be. But yeah, last congratulations to UMass. And thank you so much, Aryan, for joining me. It's been a pleasure. And I will be back in 3 hours. So,
Thank you
yep,
for having me on the show.
of course. All right. Take care, everyone.